So for this video, I'm going to try something a little different. It's an idea I've had in my head for quite some time, and since I haven't made a video in almost a year, with some horrible lazy butt, and I'm so sorry and I have no one to blame but myself, I decided I would finally give my idea a try. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, and welcome to my first episode of Without Context, the show where I jump straight into the middle of an anime, TV show, or otherwise series without knowing anything about it and review it based solely on that one episode. Let's begin, shall we? Let's start this adventure with a series I've been wanting to do for a while now, a little anime called One Piece. Don't know anything about it other than I used to show it at like 5 a.m. on weekdays when I was in grade school. It was about pirates or something, and that's about it. But I bought a DVD from an anime convention, and let's see where this show is all about. Okay, so skipping past the theme song, we see... Wait, what was that? Who is that? What? No, wait. Who are they? The fish? What? Okay, hold on. Just pause it, because I think it's clear this is going to be one of these animes. Seriously, what is happening right now? They just drop you in, no parachute. I have no idea what's going on. There was no lead-in of any sort. I'm sure if I had watched it from episode 1, I would have a better idea of the story up to this point. But if someone were to say, catch this episode on TV or something, they would be at a total loss. Maybe if I dull my mind a little bit, I won't care so much. So, if you'll excuse me. There. Proceed. So after this giant koi is blown up, I guess, that sends this pirate ship flying through the air. Okay. So first things first, before I get too far ahead of myself, I do not like this animation style. I never have. It bothers me how disproportionate the waists are, and how long the limbs are in relation to the rest of their bodies. It also bothers me how the color palette is toned down in favor of a flat, almost matte-like colors. Don't get me wrong, the color choices are very nicely put together, but going on an adventure to exotic lands, I would imagine that they would give some way for some color saturation. However, keep in mind these are purely stylistic criticisms for me, so take them with a grain of salt. So back to these two giant Vikings who I think are trying to kill our pirate protagonists or something. The story stops entirely to give their backstory. Long story short, these two Vikings were super powerful, but their reign of terror stopped because they couldn't figure out who killed a bigger ocean Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay. Back to the actual protagonists, these two annoying kids are singing about how they're going to go back to the village of warriors and become giants. Or something, I don't know. Here is where I'm going to pause to talk about the characters, because after this point it gets a little chaotic. These two, I don't like. This guy is the main character and is kind of obnoxious. I think he's like a cabin boy or something. He is super scrawny and is always goofing off. This guy, I don't know who he is, but he's super annoying and I hate the look of his face. This girl, I think is the captain. She seems to call all the shots and keeps the other characters under control. I like her a lot. She reminds me of my best friend. There is also this duck thing, a sort of mascot I think, this swordsman with seafoam green hair, this relatively normal girl who I guess is some sort of princess, and also this guy, this womanizing chef. I also like him, though I do not know why. From what I gather, this character, Vivi, is not part of the pirate crew and is trying to get home to a place called Alabasta, because there's some sort of war going on and she is the only one that can stop it.
You're on your way. Soon you'll return to Alabasta. Well, my rosy outlook is assuming we can make it there safely and without any more surprises.
Yes, I must return. It's my obligation.
Well, don't sound so enthusiastic. I know what they meant, but something about how this line is delivered, at least in the English dub, always bothers me. It's like, normally this type of line is used under duress. When someone doesn't really want to go home, but they know they have to. The facial expression and tone of voice don't really mesh up with the words being said. And I know it might be a nitpick, but this has always bothered me. So, changing scenes momentarily, we cut to this Swan ballerina guy. K, who I guess is one of the villains of the series. He talks to his crew about his evil plans or something, but I don't really get what he's talking about. It's one of those things you'd probably understand it if you'd watched the series all the way through, but just jumping in the conversation doesn't mean too much. One thing I do have to say about this scene, though, is that chin. That chin is horrifying. Back to our main characters, it turns out that Nami has gotten sick from the sudden shift in climate on the Grand Line, which is the name of the sea they are currently sailing on. This is a problem because she is the only one with any sort of medical knowledge. The rest of the crew is totally incompetent and have not even the slightest inkling of what to do. And this leads to quite possibly the greatest clip I have ever seen.
There's bound to be doctors and nurses in Alabasta that can help, right? How much longer till we get there, Vivi?
I don't know. At least a week, and that's too long.
Okay, so she's sick. Maybe we're overreacting.
I don't know. I've never been this sick.
Morons! Have you all lost your minds? This is serious. She shouldn't have such a high fever unless her body's fighting an infection. This is bad. Whatever's wrong, it's possibly life-threatening.
You mean Nami's gonna die?
Your screams aren't helping!
We have to find a doctor to help Nami before she dies!
Okay, everyone just calm down. You're only going to make her feel worse.
Listen. I'm fine.
Nami?
Yay! She's cured! Shut up!
Every anime sickness scene ever. Seriously, every time I watch this, it cracks me up. In case you are unaware, anime has this trope of whenever a character gets sick, even in the slightest, it is blown way out of proportion. Like, the second a character sneezes, call an ambulance because they are going to die. To be fair, there are storytelling and cultural reasons for this trope, so don't you weeaboos go criticizing me in the comments for being a baka amerikaizin, because daigoku ni nihon no benkyou shita. Trust me, I get it. But coming from a background where being sick basically involves taking some Tylenol and sucking it up, this concept does and always will seem absurd to me. And this quick 15 seconds perfectly sums up how I see the Byoki episode of any anime. So Nami fights through her pain in order to tell Vivi that she has been hiding something from her for quite a while. Her country is already at war and she might already be too late to get home. There might not be any Alabasta left to return to. Nami makes the resolve that no matter what, they have to head straight for Alabasta. No stops. Much to her dismay, she finds that Zoro, who is the one left in charge of the compass, had driven them way off course. Nami urgently orders the ship turned, as not only are they way off course, but she can feel the barometric pressure shift. And it's a darn good thing, too, because there is suddenly a water spout straight ahead of them. Whoa, stop. Just stop, just a second. Why does Luffy have stretching powers? I mean, we kind of saw it demonstrated here, too, but I thought this was just an animation fluke. But there is no way around this. He obviously has stretching powers. Does anyone else have funky powers like this? I am super confused by this development. Anyway, back on course, the climate changes again, but Nami is only getting worse, so they need to find a doctor before they can head to Alabasta. The episode ends with them finding this Jester Archer guy that clearly exists on the top layer of reality. And there you have it, episode 78 from the anime One Piece. It definitely has animation to it, and the characters seem to play off each other fairly well. It's one that I would definitely like to see more of, though if you're looking to jump into the whole story, I would not suggest trying to start in the middle. Though, to be honest, the absurdity of not knowing what was going on was part of the fun. I enjoyed the bizarreness of the visuals and the somewhat nonsensical pacing, because it seemed to make the funny moments all the more funny, just from my sheer not understanding what was happening. There were some things on the technical aspect, for example the art style, like I already mentioned, and there were a lot of shots that just seemed to hang there forever for no reason, but if you look past that, I think it was a fun little romp. I hope you guys enjoyed my first episode of Without Context, and hopefully I'll be able to get another one out to you very soon. Till next time.
give it up so low. Don't give it up now, man. Don't give it up.
Okay, I have to come clean to you guys. I haven't been entirely honest. You see, I first saw this episode almost 3 years ago now. So during the writing and filming of this episode, I had already watched all the episodes of One Piece into the hundreds. So while writing this script, I did know exactly what was going on the entire time. However, episode 78 was the first episode I ever saw, and prior to that, I hadn't seen anything related to One Piece. So the script was based on what I remember my initial thoughts and reactions to this episode were. Yes, I know most of my ideas and concepts in the show were flawed, but you have to remember the whole point of this show is to jump into some random episode of something without any prior knowledge and try to gather all the information about that show based solely on that one episode. I promise I will try to make the next episode on something I truly have never seen before prior to scripting it. Alright, that's it. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest. Okay, bye. Holy crap. Get the cap on there. Okay. I don't drink vodka for a reason.